Hello, welcome to our weekly Embodied Tarot reading. My name is Alexi Neal, and I'm just so excited to drop into this space with you all today. It's been a really intense and crazy week. How many times have I said that this year? Feel like there's a lot of grief and uncertainty that we are processing through right now. And so I just really want, as you're dropping into this space, to acknowledge and hold space for all of the nervous systems that are like kind of arriving to hear this right now, and just assure you that we are, we're moving together into a space where spirit is just going to hold us, just going to hold us close, and tell us what it is that it wants us to know right now about all of this intensity that we're moving through. So just taking a moment to check in with how you're arriving here right now. If you feel open, if you feel shut down, if you feel anxious or jittery, just kind of acknowledging how you're showing up and, stepping back from any judgment around it, any sense of like, I should feel differently than this, and really give yourself permission to arrive exactly as you are. I am showing up today with a little bit of a headache and definitely processing through some intense emotion myself. And there's nothing that says that that we need to show up in a certain way for spirit to communicate with us. I think that's one of the like kind of bullshit paradigms from the kind of like old, like really gateway oriented spirituality, where like, oh, you should be all like clear and clean to show up in communication with spirit. And I just, you feel free to disagree with me if you want. I have no problem with that. But for me, my deep belief is that spirit wants to hold us exactly as we are at any given moment. And it wants us to show up exactly as we are and to not wait until we feel, feel pure or feel the love and light, to open to those messages. So, all right, off my soapbox. Before I can even get fully off my soapbox, Tarot is like, High Priestess. We haven't even dropped in yet. This is going to be our drop in, actually. So take a moment to look into the face, look into the symbology of this card, take it in, and then follow her lead. If it feels comfortable to you, go ahead and close your eyes, or you can just soften your gaze and look down towards your own lap. And let this be a moment of turning in towards yourself, of choosing yourself. As you ground into your sit bones, as you say yes to the support beneath you. Let yourself choose to arrive here exactly as you are and start to get curious about the messages that may begin to come from the inside out. So even as I speak here, acknowledging that it's going to run through your own system, and that you may integrate a message that is perhaps a deepening of what I'm saying or a shifting of what I'm saying based on what you see. This is a moment to trust that the sensations in your body matter. The way that your nervous system is processing the world right now, it matters. So the High Priestess invites us to trust it and to go towards it. She is a very down and in archetype. Go down and in to the heart of what's true for you right now. Whether that is emotion, whether that is confusion, whatever it is. If it's pain in your body, be with it. Go down and into it. Say yes. Say yes to it. And take a few deep breaths, simply feeling everything that is here right now, including where your lower body is making contact with the earth, including that sense of gravity pulling you, connecting you to our mother. and also all of the energy that's circulating above that root system, all of the invitations and the opening. And we'll welcome in all of our guides, our well ancestors, our angels and spirits that want to offer something to our collective healing today. Welcome them into this space, and I'll invite them to communicate to all of us through these cards right now. Okay, we have a bunch wanting to come out at once. The first one is the Hanged Man. So the Hanged One is quite literally when spirit grabs us by the foot, turns everything on its head. And there can be this feeling of seeing things radically differently than we have before, but also the immense discomfort that comes from seeing things that perhaps we're used to not seeing. You know, sometimes we get so used to the way that we view the world that it takes getting turned upside down to see the things that we've been missing. So there is a sense right now of like, yeah, there's some uncomfortable stuff that we need to take a look at, that we collectively need to be present to. What the Hanged One teaches us is how to surrender into it, how to be held by spirit with it. The major arcana in general are cards, are energies that we surrender into. And this one is perhaps the biggest of them all because it's acknowledging that what we're surrendering into is going to be different than what we are comfortable with. It is going to be a change from what we are comfortable with. The Hanged One prepares us for the Death card. So there's a sense of continuity here from justice, which invites us to see things that we have not been looking at clearly, to the Hanged One, which is that feeling of like, I don't know what's happening right now. I feel like I'm being turned upside down. I feel like everything is being turned on its head. Okay, let's be with that. You know, let's just let that be for right now, because we are preparing when we're in this space to let go of what we thought was going to be reality and to be with exactly what is, so that we can step into whatever it is that Spirit is actually asking from us next. The second card that came out was the Seven of Swords. This is such an important card for this moment in time right now. We are collectively spending more time on the internet, on social media than we ever have. But even without that, there is this continuous sense of comparison and of looking at the things that belong to other people and wanting them for ourselves. What is underneath that, and let me be very clear, this is not a card about rejecting your desires. This is not a card that says the things that you want, you cannot have. It is a card that says, but you are worthy long before you have them. You are worthy right now. And if we don't break ourselves out of that cycle of thinking, I need this next thing that I want in order to be worthy, in order to be enough, in order to be able to do XYZ thing that I want to do once I feel like I am enough, if we don't break out of this cycle, then we just kind of continuously are using the people in our communities to, okay, hold on, what's this message? We're continuously using the people in our communities not to spread love, but to spread fear of not being enough. Because that's how we engage with everything, you know? So this Seven of Swords card is a really huge one for like, let's be with what we have. And yes, our authentic desires, the desires that belong to us and aren't just created in our minds because we see other people having them. Let's just be with that and know that we're worthy of all of that fulfillment, that before we get to where we're going, we're already perfect. It's just okay to be right where we are. And this card and the Hanged One go so well together, right? Because in the Hanged One, we can often get into this sense of judgment of like, well, I see these other people behaving in different ways with this circumstance. we're going through so much as a collective right now that it really lends itself to that comparison, because like, well, she's doing that and he's doing this. But what we're being asked to do is sit with what's here for us right now, even if it's uncomfortable, and say, yeah, even with this anxiety, even with this fear, even with this depression, even with this insecurity, I am already worthy. I am already enough. I don't have to get over any of that. I don't think we're ever going to fully get over any of it anyway. So this is freedom. The Seven of Swords is a card that asks us to get free. And then the last card to come out is the Knight of Cups reversed. Knight of Cups is a card of movement. It's a card of sensual movement, again, down and into what actually does bring us pleasure. With it being reversed, the feeling I'm getting is that we're being invited to come home to what actually feels good. Because while we're getting held up by the foot by spirit and our pockets all shaken out, can we actually enjoy the sensation for a moment? Like I think of in this particular card, actually, it's showing something that you might see in like an aerial yoga class. And so like there's this sense of, it sounds super uncomfortable to be held upside down for a long time. And yet there are moments when we willingly go into that space because it feels good. Because there's something about that total reversal of our circulation, that total, upheaval of the way that we see the world. That's like, it's expansive. It's opening. So the Knight of Cups reverse invites us to check in with the ways in which we are perhaps not feeling the pleasure that is available to us right now. And how can we actually choose, actually make the conscious choice to find pleasure in what is here, to find pleasure in the way that things are different right now, to find pleasure in the way that things are unexpected right now, to choose it and to move towards it and to say yes to the way that it's already here. All right. I think there's one more card. The Magician. I love this card coming out as kind of the bookend to the High Priestess starting us off, because the High Priestess says go down and in, and the Magician says come down and through. And you can see that in this image here. There's this sense of this divine infinite potential being channeled down and through the hands. But what this points us towards is the fact that our body is in fact a conduit. And that when we're doing this work of feeling worthy, of noticing what's getting shaken up for us, of tapping into our pleasure, we are not doing it just for us. I mean, we are at the same time. Like, that's enough to do it just for us. And without us even forcing it, right? This is still a major arcana card. The Magician is still a major arcana card. So this is not a card that says like, and then you need to make time to go actively choose to do something in the world. Kind of like the Knight of Cups has that element of like, choose it. The Magician is like, no, surrender to it. Surrender to what wants to come through you when you're not trying to make something happen. Surrender to what actually can flow through your system when you make that choice to go down and in first and nourish what's here and feel good in what's here right now. Okay, so with all of that, let's take a couple of really deep breaths. Bring a hand or two onto your chest. And allow your awareness to go down and in once more into this heart space. Notice if your mind has taken up the mantle of figuring out what it is that wants to come through you right now, and set that back down. Notice what feels uncomfortable right now. Notice the discomfort without trying to fix it. Let it be here. Say yes to all of you right now. Yes to all the emotions. Yes to all the sensations. And then move your hands from your heart down onto your low belly. So you're going to make this triangle shape with your hands, placing your thumbs at your belly button, letting the rest of your hands move down your belly. Take a few breaths into that space. Start to tap in. This is our pleasure center. And this is what's going to ground us right now, so that as we move through this period of being shooken up, of being turned around, we anchor into the reality that there is always something here for us. Always something that we can, like literally that, always something that we can into. I'm going to invite you, if it feels okay in your body, to actually start to shake this triangle up and down, up and down, up and down. Shaking the womb space, whether you're a man or a woman, there's energetically a similar space here. Doesn't matter what gender. As we shake this energetic pleasure center, this seat of desire, reminding yourself right now that you are worthy to receive pleasure, even when you are confused, even when you are uncertain, even when you are anxious. You are worthy of pleasure. Let it shake, let it shake, let it shake. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, keep going. Deep breath in, deep breath out, keep going. One more deep breath in, deep breath out, let it soften. Start to let your body move, maybe rotating through your hips where you're sitting. If you feel inspired to stand up and let this move through your body, go for it. But focusing specifically on your hips, allowing them to rotate and spin. Do this just for you. You are not here for anybody else right now. This is just for you. Go down and into the sensation. Breathe with it. This is enough right now. Whatever you're feeling, I promise you, whatever you're feeling, this is enough right now. Let your body move you. Maybe it gets bigger, moving from the hips and into the torso, into the arms. Is there expansion that wants to happen? Is there contraction? Is there rhythm, or is it wild? Is it shaking? There's been so much energy holding us in place. I want to invite you for 3 more breaths here to get as big as your nervous system is willing to right now. Get as big and as huge as your nervous system is willing to let you right now. Take up so much space. Take up even more space. Take a really big breath in. And then draw your palms together above your crown. And as you exhale slowly, slide the thumbs to the third eye point. Keep going, slide the thumbs all the way to the heart. Breathe in. Turn the palms onto the chest once more. Breathe out. You are here. You are enough. Being invited to look at what's happening right now differently. You're being invited to go down and into the sensation. And you're being invited to trust that through that process, you're going to find, you're going to do what Spirit wants to move through you. Last 3 deep breaths here. Allowing whatever's here right now to be here. So we'll leave it there for today, dear ones. I want to invite you to let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know down in the comments how this is landing with you today. You can let me know directly too with an email what's showing up for you right now. It's so important that we stay in tune with our communities, and I am here for you, dear ones. I'm also here for you if you're getting the message that it's time to get more support, somebody in your corner, individually, week by week through this process. I'm here for that too. So lots of love to you all, and we'll talk soon.